Good morning, everybody. It's Victoria Lorient-Faibish, registered psychotherapist, holistic psychotherapist, and I am delighted to be here this morning once again. It's a semi-cloudy, semi-sunny day here in Toronto, and I wanted to come at you about some really important, hi Julia, some very important pieces of information. It got me thinking. Hi Bernadette, thanks for all the people joining us. And again, sharing is caring, so share this so people can come on and the discussion can be rich. You know, in today's world, it seems like a lot of people are publicly screwing up, and I'm observing the apologies. And the apologies aren't great, let me tell you. And also, the bigger the screw up, the less people are up for the actual apology. And so apologizing is a massive aspect of healing. And, you know, and all of us, you know, I believe have to enter into the space of apology at one time or another. And so this is can be a hot topic. And I noticed that there were a lot of triggered people about my video yesterday, new perspectives on infidelity. And so this is more, I just wanted to say, you know, I really believe that there is a possibility for post-traumatic growth versus post-traumatic stress only. Post-traumatic growth is that you go through the traumas and then there's growth. And I believe that the apology is part of it. And I believe that forgiveness is part of it. And to sit in the resentment and the embitterment I'm going to tell you, is like literally taking poison and expecting another person to die. You know, so to me, you know, when people sit in the non-forgiveness, and that's why I really love the talk from yesterday, and, you know, Esther Perel's work on infidelity. Because there's hope, I really believe. I mean, I work with couples that are experiencing that all the time. And some people have to break up, absolutely, but some people can move forward and have a new relationship after that. And part of the healing on the relationship, whether it's a friendship, whether it's a family rift, or it's a couple that's having a rift, the apology is such a massive aspect of the healing. But people just don't do apologies well because I think that they don't know how to do it. And you know, the first thing I want to tell you is that, number one, you screw up an apology by being vague. By being vague and by not taking full responsibility and by gaslighting and minimizing. And does everyone know what gaslighting is? I'm just going to explain it. Gaslighting is you do something, the other person reacts, and then you're like saying, what are you talking about? I never did that. And you're crazy. That's gaslighting. And so we're born defensive. You know, I think we have a biological predisposition toward defensiveness. We want to defend our position. We want to defend ourselves. It's very much, I believe, ingrained genetically, biologically into us in our DNA to defend our position, to defend our being. And we tend to not feel like, as humans, that it's safe to apologize. And I've heard people say, well, if I apologize, it's just going to be, you know, open season crucifixion of the person, of me. And, you know, while that might be true for a time, it's really important to honor the process of the apology, because the apology is what's going to be the bridge to the new experience in this relationship. And the first thing that an apology cannot be is vague, and it cannot be minimizing, and it cannot be about not taking full responsibility. I hear in my office things like, oh, I'm sorry, you know, that I made you feel that way. Oh, I'm so sorry, it's sincere. I'm so sorry I made you feel that way. You know, oh, what? No. Number one, you can't make people feel that way, and that's not a good apology. You need to say, I'm sorry that I did that, and that I you know, broke your trust and our trust. That's where an apology becomes the good form of the apology. And the other thing that makes the apology false is when say, well, I'm sorry I did that, but explanation, explanation, explanation. What? No, the but makes what you're saying false. So what you need to really stop is, I actually take people through a process of how they're going to, I coach them through how they're going to do the apology so that it actually promotes the healing going forward. Because I'm sorry, but, or I'm sorry I did that, but. It's always about focusing in on how you're going to explain away your behavior, and emotionally, I'm sorry, but, it was really hard for me and I was really in a bad place. Whoa. You could be in a bad place, and we can talk about that, but let the apology stand on its own. Bernadette, what are you saying? Bang on, Victoria. Thank you. Absolutely. Exactly. There's such an important, I'm glad it's resonating for people, because there's such an opportunity that's missed when people do the apology wrong. And so don't focus in on the other person's feelings. In affairs, I hear this. I don't feel guilty for the affair, because often people will find a deep aliveness and love in an affair. I know this is triggering for people, but it's what happens. But I feel really guilty for how I made the person, my wife or my husband or my whatever, feel. And so focusing in on the other person's feelings is just losing the opportunity for truly creating a bridge to healing. What you have to do is you have to work on, I'm sorry I offended you, I'm sorry I hurt you, I'm sorry I whatever you. No, a better apology is for example, let's just say a person tells a rude joke, a racist rude joke, and someone's offended. And what's not okay is, well, I'm sorry I offended you. What is okay is, I made a mistake in telling that joke, and I'm really sorry that I did that, and I'm not going to do it again, because I realized that what I told was offensive and racist, and I messed up. Full responsibility of what you have done is what a good apology looks like. Try not to understand that the Olá, Sandra, people from Brazil tuning in, I love that. Try to understand that your apology is not about them, it's about you and about what you did. And I know it's scary for people to apologize. I find that people are very much, as I said, wired for defensiveness in their ego state, a fear state, child state. And I find the bigger the transgression, obviously, the bigger the transgression, the hi Sandra, the more evasive the apology can be. I'm watching, when we watch these big shots, trying to apologize, politicians or whatever, it's like, man, you need to learn how to do some apologizing in my office, please, because you're not going to go anywhere with this. This thing is leading you right down the rabbit hole of hell. Also, the other thing is, when you are, I want to talk about over-apologizing. People apologize for this, apologize for that. Over-apologize. I got to tell you that people think we're sort of also, Canadians are wired to apologize a lot, or women are wired to apologize a lot, whatever. These are cliches, but people who apologize too much, there is this feeling of it's irritating for people. It creates distance. And it also creates like a non-authenticity, a non-sincerity about it. And so there's a fine line between too much of an apology and it doesn't feel sincere, it doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't really ring true, and then not apologizing well or enough. And Harriet Lerner, I was at a conference, as many of you know, and Harriet Lerner was one of the keynote speakers at one of the luncheons, and she said a beautiful quote: "The non-apologizer walks on a tightrope of defensiveness on a huge canyon of low self-esteem." Harriet Lerner said that. So if you're going to quote her, make sure you quote her and put her name there. The non-apologizer walks on a tightrope of defensiveness on a huge canyon of low self-esteem. So non-apologizing, or people who don't apologize, essentially are really coming from a low self-esteem place. And when I'm in the office with them, I will call them on that so that we can work on the self-esteem, so that they can build their sense of self, so that they can really remember that, they're worthy. This is not about shaming and blaming. This is not about making them wrong. This is not about any of those things. This is about really, really understanding that the apology is powerful and that you can transform your whole relationship experience through a well-verbalized, a well-placed apology. And you can't apologize for who you are, by the way. You can only apologize for what you do. And, because if you're trying to apologize for your very being, that's a problem too. And I see people doing that, apologizing because they're gay and they're in a straight relationship and they need to get out of it. You can't apologize for who you are, but you can apologize for what you have done. And that's a key differentiation that people need to really remember. And the other thing is what I have noticed in my office is that, the injured party longs to be validated and longs to be acknowledged and longs to be heard. So give that person a real opportunity to express themselves fully without you defending, or the person who was the transgressor defending themselves. Just have the courage to listen. Be open to the listening. And then when you apologize, keep it short, keep it brief, but keep it really validating, clear, and also not about the other person's emotions, more about what you did, how you transgressed, and how you're now taking personal responsibility for that transgression. Because to me, I have seen relationships break up on a badly verbalized apology, where I believe that there was such opportunity for growth. The person refused to apologize in the way that was laid out that was healthy, and it became this ego thing, and it's like, nope. And I'm like, okay, well, you just took a crapshoot, boom, and you just flushed your relationship down the toilet. Because all that you needed in that moment was to lower your ego and to own your crap. Own it. And then from there, rebuild. And then be the vigilante of the relationship. Be the vigilant. You know what I mean? The transgressor needs to be the person that takes care of the relationship going forward. Okay? That is just massive, and that's to me the foundation of building from the transgression, from infidelity, from cheating, from lies, from all of those things. The person who did the transgressing, even if they transgressed because the other person was horrible too, because the truth is that, nothing happens in a vacuum. The two people are in a tango dance of dysfunction if lying is going on, right? But each person has to take their moment of taking responsibility. And I'm a hard ass about that. If I detect tremendous amounts of non-taking responsibility, I'm like, we got to stop until you really start to take responsibility. Because I become like the mediating coach. So this is so important. Hi, Wen. Hi, Heather. Hi, everybody who's joining me. I thank you so much. I could go on and on about this, but a couple things I just want to say. Number one, I'd love to keep the conversation going. So come join my group, Positive Self-Culture, Relationship Culture, Family Culture, which is what it is that I'm all about. What I feel will change the planet is to have a good self-culture, a good relationship culture, and a good family culture, which will multi-generationally impact people so that they are shifting the way they do relationships. They're conscious, they're aware, they're awake, they're seeing what they do, and they're taking responsibility for themselves. Learning how to apologize properly being one of the aspects. And also hop on over to visualizationworks.com, my website, which has just about everything that I offer. My books, which, as you know, Find Your Self-Culture. Find Your Self-Culture. What's Bernadette saying? Bernadette is saying, I'm going to put my glasses on. You're very good. Thank you. This is an Essential 101 talk. Yes, this can happen when humans have the aptitude to be seen and see the other, or they may repeat. Exactly, Bernadette. There's no way around the mountain. If people transgress, they have to learn how to apologize. And if they do it wrong, missed opportunity for growth. And this is just massive. It's the be all and end all to transforming a relationship. And I believe that people can get past I really believe people can get past transgressions in relationships, and they can have a new relationship in the same marriage, let's just say, or friendship, or whatever it may be. But there has to be new new rules in town, new mayor in town, new game in town, and the transgressor needs to apologize well and needs to be the vigilante of the relationship, where they're safeguarding the relationship in order to build trust. So my first book, Find Your Self-Culture, moving from depression and anxiety to monumental self-acceptance, is powerful. People are, I mean, the letters I'm getting about what they feel when they read this book is just kind of like, wow, mind-blowing. So pick up your copy. And also, Connecting, Rewire Your Relationship Culture, which I take all of the case studies and I also tell you that you can rewire how you do relationships. In other words, whatever you inherited from your family culture, the way they did relationships, the way they did, conversations, the way they did resentment, all of that can be changed. Thank you, Dana. I know that you're liking my book. I really, really appreciate that. And I really, really appreciate the fact that the work I'm doing is actually helping to change people, worlds, that's what gets me up in the morning. It's why I do this, okay? Really, it's why I do this. So the second book is about really doing dating in a new way, doing pre-marriage in a new way, doing marriage in a new way, and also healthy divorce is possible. And so I talk about all that here. And, rewiring your relationship is Relationship Rescue 911. And if you're watching me on YouTube, just subscribe to my channel. It's called Ask Victoria. I have over 100 videos there. And all I can say is keep tuning in. Tomorrow, I'm going to be doing another one at 9:30. So join me at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Spread the news, spread the word. We are out there helping people and changing the planet. Okay? Have a fantastic, beautiful day. And please listen to these videos again because they're nuggets of gold to change how you do relationships. Blessings and love.